Hey guys, so remember we left off when Miss Jackson was writing, I think what changes the temperature is cooler waters during these years. Boom, I'm going to hit submit on my comment. So I'm going to hit this little arrow just like you would hit yours, and I think it's over here on the left hand side. And then you also have to make your second comment. So you can either hit some you can either hit submit and write your second comment, or you could do like I saw some of you guys doing and writing 1 and then writing 2 and then choose a claim that is most similar to your idea. So if I'm reading these 3 claims that they have, claim 1 is the amount of incoming energy from the sun changes. That doesn't sound like what I thought. Claim 2 was something about the Earth's surface, and that's land or water changes. Oh, so that's what I thought. So I'm going to put claim 2. And then I'm going to write something about the Earth's surface might help if Miss Jackson can spell changes. Okay, so if you notice, Miss Jackson answered the first question, she answered the second question. Boom, she is now done the discussion part of the lesson, but that does not mean I'm done my lesson. So I have to keep on going. So after we do our student discussion, I'm going to scroll down here. We're going to play with the simulation now. So let's play with the sim. I'm going to change my slide here. So this is up. It logged me out. Give me 1 second, guys. For anybody who doesn't know how to log in, that's the process we're going to be logging in. And I dropped something, so let me just log in. Okay, so we are looking at the simulation, and we are looking at, just want to make sure I'm aware. So if we look at this menu over here, right, we're looking at current map. So there's 4 modes to the map. The 2 modes that we're going to be exploring today is current map and energy task. So I want you guys to play around with current map. So notice how we can put location centers, and I can put this anywhere I want, A, B, C, or D. So these are all areas in Christchurch, right? So I'm going to put a space here. And I'm going to put my other sensor. Now notice there are some locations already tagged. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll learn about those in another lesson. But right now I'm just trying out any place. So let's look at what I can see. Notice how, first of all, right here is blocking the rest of the island. I can drag these tags to move them out of my way. So that's one thing we can do. We can drag the tags, move them out of the way. You can even drag them off screen. So let's say I don't want it to block anything I'm looking at on here. I can drag it to where it's off screen. So in these little tags, I can see the temperature of the air, I can see the temperature of the land, and I can see the energy from the sun to the land and the energy from the air to the land. And I can see these at 2 different locations. Notice that at different locations, we have different temperatures. So over here on island on island D, our temperatures are lower than over here on island E. I can also make these locations in the water. So, hold on, Miss Jackson, drag this. So I can also make this look at water. So notice I see energy from the sun to the water and energy from the water to the air. And I can see that these temperatures are different as well. So Miss Jackson is going to drop this one back on land. Sorry about that, my nose itch. Okay, so when we hit play, so I'm just going to move these up. Notice how you can also move the map, right? So I can drag and see different areas, and if you notice, it loops back. So right? If we see island B, we can drag it left and end up seeing island B. It's the same thing. Okay. So I'm going to drag this up out over here, and I'm going to drag this one out over here. So we're going to hit play to start, and notice we can see the currents moving through the ocean. So when we see these currents, we can actually click on the water, and if we click on this water, it's going to activate a current tracker. So if you look, as my water moves through the current, right, you can see that I'm watching the temperature change as this water moves throughout the system that we're looking at. We can also see this energy change, and we can see the air change. So if I drag one of these and I move it into the water, right, notice I'm seeing my temperature change, right, in my water, and notice here on land I'm seeing my temperature change as well as my air is changing, and vice versa. So I can even see changes in the water near this land. So these are all some great things we can see. Boom. I can also have this button that says temperature view. So if I click this temperature view, I can see what's going on with the air. So I'm seeing there's warmer temperatures towards the center, and it's colder as we get away from this equator line, right? So if I'm looking, the deep reds are around 40 degrees Celsius, and the light blues are anywhere from 0 to -10, and then we have these warmish temperatures in the middle, right? Remember to use your temperature conversions. So remember that about 20 degrees Celsius is about the room when it's about like regular room temperature, which is like 50-60 degrees. So warmer than that, when we hit 30 degrees and 40 degrees, those are 80 and 90 degree temperatures, right? So it's warmer around the equator and gets cooler as we go either north or south of the equator. Okay, so with our simulation, we can also look at the change in surface. So we can look at the temperature view in terms of surfaces. So we're looking at the change with the water, right? You're looking at those changes. You're also looking at the changes on land. And once again, we can look at this on different views and drag them out and view different ways. So just showing you all the ways we can do this. On the surface view, notice that we can see the currents moving, and we cannot see that with just air. So with air, we kind of see these pixels, but if we look at the surfaces, we can see the water moving, and we can see our continents. Okay, so those are all of the things that we can kind of see with this. I want you guys to take a minute and play around with it and see if you noticed anything different. So pause the video right here and allow yourself to play around. Okay, so welcome back. So now we're going to look at the energy test. So load energy test mode. And notice how there are two different surfaces we can look at. So we can look at land and air, and we can look at water and air. And your challenge for this point is for you to find ways to make the air temperature change in someone using energy test mode. So in this chapter, we're going to be trying to figure out what determines the air temperature in Christchurch, New Zealand. So Miss Jackson's going to be partner 1, and I'm going to find a way to make the air temperature increase. And then you guys are going to play with it, and you're going to find the way to make the air temperature decrease. So let me go back to the symbol. So if I'm looking, my water temperature is -10 degrees and my air temperature is -10 degrees. And I want to look at what happens when I add energy, because if I'm looking at the plus or minus, I'm noticing that this is how I'm going to be adding or removing energy from the system. And remember that Miss Jackson wants to make it increase. So I'm here trying to make it increase. So maybe I'll add some energy. So I'm noticing something, and that is if there's more energy in the water, then the air temperature increases. And I'm noticing that this stops when the two temperatures are the same. Does anybody remember what that's called? Exactly, that's called equilibrium. So we're going to add energy until my two temperatures reach equilibrium. So now I'm going to go to amplify, and I think it logs me out here too. So gotta log in again, back to application. Oh, sorry guys, it wants to be difficult today. Here we go. So I'm on task 3, which is exploring the simulation, and we've done this first part together. So that's all done. Our second part is to find ways to make the air temperature change in the simulation. Miss Jackson did increase, and of course you're going to do decrease. So how did I make the temperature increase? Well, I added energy to make it increase. You are also going to answer, how did you make the temperature decrease? And then once you answer both of those questions, you're going to hit save and continue. We have 2 new vocabulary words. Well, they're not new. We looked over them in our thermal energy unit, and that is energy and temperature. So energy is the ability to make things move or change, and temperature is a measure of how hot or cold something is. Right? We also know that temperature is a measure of the average kinetic energy. So let's put these 2 things together. So we saw in the simulation that the air temperature, as the air temperature was higher, the more energy the air has. So when energy increases, temperature also increases, right? That's something we might have noticed in the simulation. Remember that once you get these definitions down, or if you already have them, you're going to hit the hand in button. So I know it's all handed in. It'll say your work is hand in. We can always update your work. Now, the next and last activity for today is the homework. So you're going to be reading effects of El Nino. Everyone is going to be reading the different places and different effects. Remember that you're adding your annotations. I noticed last article, I was seeing a lot of highlights, but not a lot of notes. Please, guys, make sure your notes are in here. Make sure you're writing your connections. That's the only way that you're going to get full points for this. So as you read, make sure you hit notes and your annotations, and Ms. Jackson's just going to write connection here. You're going to actually write what your connections are, what your questions are. You're going to hit save. I see this for each and every scholar. So if you do nothing here, I see that. If you only highlight, I see that as well. If you have notes, I see them and I respond to them. Some of you guys have already seen this. So you're then going to choose which of the second articles you're going to watch. So you can read. So you can read drought in Pakistan, landslides in Los Angeles, or malaria in Colombia. So if you scroll down, you'll see the next button. You just hit the next button to choose your article. So the one about the drought in Pakistan is next. If that's not what you want to read, you just hit the next one. Right? And then that'll go you the next article. You're also going to answer the question, why do you think it's important for the climate scientists to study El Nino? You're going to write your answer. Ms. Jackson's going to write the word answer. And remember to hand it in. Okay, for extra credit, also remember to choose which article you read so I know what to look for your annotations. For extra credit, you can read about more than one article. All right, so that's all for today. Love you guys. Miss you all. Hope you have a great day. Bye.